Good evening, everyone. On behalf of our entire team, I warmly welcome you all to Prototype Workshop 5. We are thrilled to have you all with us today for the Technical Pitch Workshop, where you'll explore persuasive pitching and gain practical tools to apply in real-world scenarios. Guiding you through this session today is Pavitma Fernando, and it's an absolute pleasure to be part of this learning experience with all of you. We are thrilled to welcome Ms. Pulani Ranasinghe, founder and CEO of Loons Lab, as the speaker of Prototype Workshop 5. With extensive experience in technology and innovation, Ms. Pulani Ranasinghe will be leading us through today's topic on technical pitching. In this session, she will share insights on crafting compelling, clear, and impactful tech pitches, helping you present your ideas in a way that's not only technically sounds good, but also engaging, persuasive, and ready to express stakeholders and judges. If you have any questions or inquiries during the session, feel free to submit them via Slido, or you can either scan this QR code displayed on the screen or click the link shared in the Zoom chat. With that, please join me in welcoming Ms. Pulani Ranasinghe as we begin the session.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm audible and you can see me as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me here. So before we begin the session, we deep dive into the topic. I would like to know a little bit about this audience. So I can see around 50 participants, and I'm guessing around 40 of them are participants from the the hackathon, CodeSprint text. And can I have a maybe a one-liner? Like you can just type in the text or type in as a in this message box, as in what are you trying to do? Like what is your idea, what is your business, or what is your concept is all about? If you can just maybe type me maybe one from each group, or everyone can contribute. So if you can type me that, I think I'll be able to better sort of adjust and maybe relate to your product or organization as well. Shall we quickly do that? I don't see anything at the moment. Hi, can you all hear me, right? Okay, so we have a companion app and a reloadable tourist wallet that empowers international travelers in Sri Lanka with AI-driven itineraries, offline access, seamless QR, NFC payments, and local insights, all in one unified mobile platform. Awesome. So who else is in the room? Okay, we have Kata AI, an AI-powered assistive communication application for deaf and mute people. Awesome. So who else? Super. We are getting immersive AR, VR telepresence application. Nice. I would like it to be a little more focused as well, so that we can all get a better understanding of what you're really going to do. Okay, so I'll be running onto the inbox time to time. And also please feel free to ask questions. Sorry, I didn't prepare any activities or anything as such. But since my schedule was really packed up these days, but feel free to ask if you have any questions at any time. Feel free to ask and clarify. So since it's 1 hour session, I think probably there's a higher tendency that you might get bored. So just try to engage as much as possible, ask questions, and let's try to engage. Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen. Meanwhile, please keep on typing your applications, what I'm going to solve and all of it. Yeah, so hope everyone can see my screen. Okay. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, super. So, we are here to talk about a pitch, like how to do a proper pitch, what to prepare, how to prepare. So, pitch, like when you're doing a pitch, you always think in the other person's shoes, like what the other person want to hear about your business. Like, will the other person understand if I say this about my business? So, what are the compelling factors? What will he or she go wow when he or she hear your pitch? So I think that's most of like what should include in your pitch. Okay, let me like take you through a couple of slides. So I'd like to mention about myself. So I'm Pulani Ranasinghe. I'm the founder and CEO of Loons Lab. So in Loons Lab, we do a lot of innovations in health tech, and we do hospital management systems running in around 20 government hospitals, and also island-wide medical supplies distribution system, and also several other digitalization projects, and like some of the products as well. And also, meanwhile, I serve as a fractional CEO for a SaaS factory, and also recently I took an appointment as a country manager for Bordio, where we help startups to scale into like different countries. Yeah, and also I served as general council member of SLASCOM and lead in Women Technopreneurs Forum in previous years. Yeah, so that's like basically about myself. So before we start on a pitch, I think every one of you should know about your business a little bit more. So I think I read 3 concepts. So I'm hoping there'll be some other concepts for me to read. So please keep on sending those concepts. And so before you are ready to do your pitch, you should do your homework on your concept. So I have listed 5 main points to work on, thinking that you are an early stage startup. So points to consider. So first thing is uh, when you're presenting we are almost like presenting our solution. We are going to do like this kind of a thing with this technology. We are doing this with blockchain. We are going to revolutionize this space with like AR, VR. So we always talk about the solution, but which should not be the case. So you should have a proper problem. Because like I think you might have heard like there's a famous saying, you should fall in love with your problem, not the solution that you're going to provide, because solution may always change, but your problem is a key that you should addressing. And then when finding a solution, so actually, like I think it might be having several phases. So I think I'll take this example first. So first you might see a problem and then you might find a solution, but then again you again might think this might not be a perfect fit. Then again you might be revising the solution, and then again when you revise it you might be feeling, oh, this is a little different. Then again we might be reverse. Sometimes we might need to pivot it in entirely another thing. So that's the beauty of it. So like just try to find the problem first, a very valid problem, which will have a bigger impact in the society, or even if it has a minor impact, it should be some problem that has a bigger significance in solving or like making a bigger impact on someone, at least one person's life. So that is like searching for a big problem and giving the solution. I think that's a key that we all want to go about it. So then we'll go for the points, and then I think properly you should have that fit. Like when your problem and the solution should be really fit together. So you should understand your customers better. Like if if this solution fits this problem, I mean, if this problem can be solved from this solution. So I think that is what you have to do. So like maybe the first ever product that you design, it might not be the perfect one, but once you go into the consumers, go do more detailed surveys and things around it, then you will be achieving at a like very better solution than what you initially came across. So the second one. So like, do you know what is your biggest worth as a startup or as a team? Do you know what is your biggest worth? anyone, like if you can just switch on your microphone and if you can say, that would be great. But if not, I'd be happy to hear like what you are sort of expect had to say. Anyone? So what do you think as your biggest work? Okay, seems like we have a very quiet audience. So your biggest worth is actually your team, so nothing else. So what really matters is your team. It can be either a single person as well, but your team, getting your team right, getting the right team in, getting the people with the same fire, the same enthusiasm, the same interest in the same problem, is what best for your team. And also team, it's great if the team can complement each other. Uh, Maybe team itself should not be a competition, but it should be a safe space where you complement each other, where you sort of like have each other's back. So then like in team also you have to have few roles. So in a tech startup, I think we have this very famous thing like hacker, hipster, and hustler, where hacker is a person who is building the product, and hipster is the person who like dreams about it, like makes it usable, lovable, continuously engage with customers and sort of getting feedback and everything. And then the hustlers, a person who really goes in the fields and market it, get users, get sales, like raise money, who is after the money. So these are like the main things in your team that you should consider. And then actually the team, your team should be able to execute this idea better and faster than anyone else doing the same thing. So I think that's what your team is all about. And also like your team should be very capable of pivoting something, like if things don't go right, just turning it into something else, or like solving it in a different way. And then the fourth point, I would say, like, how well do you know about your business? So I think this is one of the main activities that you should do before you uh, like do anything on your pitch deck. So this is like, probably if you haven't done this, this is your homework. So have you heard about something called lean canvas? If I can have a raise of hands, that would be great. If you haven't heard about it, I'm sure like nowadays, like people might have heard about lean canvas a lot. So yeah, this is lean canvas. So this is the order, like the number is going in the order. So I think first you should start. Sorry, I think there it's a like little mismatch. So first you should start with the problem. So as in like what are you going to solve? So like uh on your customers, like what are you going to solve, like top three problems, or like top one problem, or like the main problem that you're going to solve. And then the customer segments, like who is this target customer? So what is the how are you going to target them? And then you have to identify the early adapter. So maybe like it's in the very how to say, very people who will be like embracing your product the most. And then what is a unique thing about that you're providing, like, because in today's world, like it is very competitive, like you are not the first one to come up with something. So it is the truth. So like, there are like billions of founders in this world, and they are like coming up with various different concepts each day. And if you search your concept anywhere, so there'll be like a lot of similar things, or like at least slightly similar things. So then you have to find why you are unique. So why you want to do this? Why not the other person? So then you have to have a very unique value proposition. And then like what is your solution? How are you going to solve this problem? And then you have to have channels. How are you going to reach these customers? And then you have to have the unfair advantage, which is like any person cannot easily copy it or wrote. So maybe like it is almost similar to the USP, but like it's more towards like competitor side. And then you have to have like the cost structure, what are the costs that might be incurring, and then what are the revenue streams that you're hoping to get revenue out of this product. And then ultimately the key matrices, like how are you going to evaluate like this, I mean, having this much of users at this point, having this much of feedback, or how are you going to evaluate? So that those are the things that you want to sort of consider before you pitch in your solution. So if you are in the very initial stage, so try doing the lean canvas. I think there are like a lot of formats available online. There is like a business canvas, lean canvas, both. But for startups, I think it's more agile and lean canvas would be better. Just try to do this within like around 30 minutes to 1 hour, so that just try to find like things quickly and try to get together and do it, so you will be having a better understanding about your problem and the solution. And then the main thing is like once you know about your solution in and out, so I think then you have to know about other people's businesses. So although we say like it's not good to like look into other people, but of course you should have a great understanding about your competitors. What are they? What are they going to do? What are they up to? What have they done? So those things, I think you need to have a great understanding on your competitors. So you have to have a very thorough analysis on the competitors, like what are across the industries, and then weaknesses of them, strengths of them, and then comparisons and strategies that they follow, and your research. So everything you have to have like that about competitors. So the competitor analysis can be of different types. So either it can be like this kind of a in graph format, maybe like you can get quality, price, so that is the most famous thing, and into axes, and then you can plot where you stand and the other competitors stand. And then like the comparative analysis, like the fish analysis, like you see in this graph. And then like you can just have ticks and checks to say like this is there in the competitor, and you can have your product listed in one of these columns as well. And you can really show like how you score out of these competitors. And more than that, probably like you can sort of maybe like add, maybe if you have different pricing, like if you're having a price advantage, you can maybe just add like this is $2, this is $5, $6. So likewise you can have that like the other factors, like maybe not only the checks and like the ticks, but you can have like the other, maybe like some things written there, or like very in summary form. So I think that would be a better competitor analysis. And then the next point is the final point actually, what about you in the long run? So how should you act, or like what is your plan in the long run? So I think it is very important to have your roadmap and the strategy. So I think at this point, so everyone is after AI. So if you don't have like maybe solution, like if your solution is not maybe directly like relating to AI, so even like there might be a big impact, like if you are a tech product. So you should like do that roadmap properly. Maybe like at first you might be having something very little, but in future years, how are you going to sort of like go forward in your journey? So since technology is rapidly changing, so now it is recommended to make like a 3 year roadmap more than the 5 year, 10 year one. So better to have like at least a 3 year roadmap together with financials, together with costings, together with like projected revenues and everything. So try to do that and include in the slides as well. So yeah, and then that's like the background work that I had to say. So like if I recap, so it was all about first it was about Yeah, so having a proper problem to solve and then like having a matching solution. So the problem is the key, and then solution can be differed. And then about your team, who are the main roles, hacker, hipster, and hustler. And then points to consider about your business, like uh, lean canvas. So what are these like different boxes mean for you, and how are you going to sort of stand out in the competition? And like I think by doing this exercise, you might be getting a very clear understanding about your product. And then the fourth point is about your competitors. How well do you know your competitors? Have you done this proper analysis on the competitors? And then finally, your roadmap and your strategy, and what is your vision for your product in next 3 to 5 years. So that's, I think, pretty much what we discussed. So up to that point, do you have any questions? Like, I would be happy to sort of answer questions, because I think we have like a little bit more stuff to go. So before that, do you have any questions? And also, I don't see much of the other concepts coming in. I would love to hear your concepts. I would like to hear what are you going to solve. Any questions up to this point in anything? Can I have a raise of hand, like if you're familiar with like, can I have a raise of hand if this is your first time going for a hackathon, or like coming into all this startup scene? Okay, we have a one hand. Amazing. Okay. Okay, we have three. Okay. Four. Okay, we have a lot of hands, a lot of first timers. So I think if you are a first timer, probably you might be having a lot of questions, because I was actually assuming you are like little matured when it comes to hackathons and competitions, and I was sort of like having it in a very summarized way. So like kindly ask if there are any questions. I would be very happy to answer. Yeah, if any questions, feel free to like type in so that I can answer. When pitching, should we focus more on the technical side or the business aspect? So I believe it is a business aspect, but technically you should be capable and solid as well. But in pitch, what we mainly look at is the business side of it. But in this, by the nature of the competition, it might be different. But I assume like the fit for your product in like the market, and then how it is going to sort of solve the problems, what is the impact it is going to create, like how many customers it's going to impact, what is the revenue model, how solid it is. And also remember, like your prototype or the demonstration also matters, because currently, like your product should be something that cannot be built by AI in a one day or like in a one weekend. So it should be something unique that you're solving. It should be something complex, I would say, something complex, and maybe no, I didn't mean like extremely complex. What I meant is like it's not something very how to say, uh, very small thing that can solve, like that can be like done only using an AI and go to market. So I think as tech graduates, you should add some value beyond like the simplicity of the product. And also you should have a solid plan, because now the tech is becoming easier day by day. The trick is with the marketing and taking things into market and like becoming like the champion in one area. So I think in that side, just try to sort of have that business mindset right. Yeah. So any more questions, please feel free to type in, so that either you can drop it as a personal message, or either you can just like type in the like the general chat as well. Yeah. So thank you for raising hands. So we'll go back to the presentation once again. Okay, so hope you can see my screen. Yeah, so let's try to make your pitch. Now, I was thinking first let's take a look at some pictures, but let's maybe like see the content and then we can like go to see some of the like pictures that I found online, which I think as really great. So the lineup, this is like the lineup that I actually got from ChatGPT, but with few additions. But I think this looks great. So first, I think you have to have a hook or an introduction. So which I think should be less than like 30 seconds, probably like you might be having actually around 30 to 60 seconds to create like a everlasting impression on your advisor. So I think this hook and the introduction is very, very important. So then like goes to the second one, the problem, which is the core of what you're trying to do. So you should explain the problem. How significant is that? And then the solution. And then solution in the sense like how are you going to solve it? Is it like the phase wise or like is it you're going to do it at one go? And then what makes you different? And then target one. What makes you different is your unique value proposition. Why cannot the competitor copy you? What is there in your product that the competitors don't? And then the target market. So who are you targeting? Who are the early adopters? So like what is maybe like we'll go into detail like each one by one. And then the business model, as in like as I mentioned as your homework that you should do like a business plan. So business model should be like strictly like thought through like how are you going to make money, the revenue model of it, and then what is it in the long run. And then the progress and the traction. So like if you are in the idea stage or if you are just developing the product, how are you going to validate it? Like what is the traction that you're expecting? Or like if you're in the market, that's really awesome. So what are your numbers? And then as a 8 point, like what is your team? And then the ninth point, what is your ask and what is your long time vision? Then again, the final one should be very attractive. You should have a very powerful closer to your presentation or the pitch. And another thing, so the pitches are usually like around 5 to 7 minutes. So I think in this competition also it might be around 5 minutes. So gathering everything into this 5 minute pitch is the magic. So including your demonstration. So just try to be mindful of like what's really necessary and what's really attractive. So again, try to look at in a perspective of a user who's sitting in the audience, the perspective of a investor who would like to put his own hardly earned cash into your startup. So the first impression that you're making is of just the 5 minute pitch. So just see the gravity of it and just try to do that exercise with yourself. Like try to see it, your pitch as a different person and then try to improve it more and more. So yeah, so we'll come to these sections one by one. So the first one is the hook, like the introduction. So basically, like this slide is a very first slide that you put on in the screen. So basically, this will be the slide that is going to stay for a very long period of time because like you might be like checking the mics, you might be asking like, am I audible? Can you hear me? And everything like when this slide is on the wall or like on the screen. So basically, this should be something really attractive. So it attractive in the sense it's not like adding so many pictures together and all, but just a one line that describes about your startup really well, maybe your logo, and maybe if there's a really a relevant picture, then that picture. Or like it should have that hook or like the people like when they see this slide, they should remember, they should feel a difference than the other presentations. So this slide is also very important. And when you say this, it should be also very important because maybe like as you go on the stage, maybe with a smile, greeting, and saying good morning, or like hi friends, or like maybe whatever the greeting that you're comfortable with. Plus, how are you going to start it? Maybe you can start with a bold statement, like maybe uh, Isaac Newton has been saying this in this year, maybe like, or else maybe you can say like, how many of you don't like to clean your uh, bed when you wake up in the morning? So it's like a hook that you can relate someone to what you're going to talk next. So maybe like it should be related to your problem, of course, not just a hook. And also I think like maybe a story, maybe like you can say maybe this much of elephants like die in Sri Lanka each and every year. So that is like a one liner that you attracts people at really well. Or maybe and then you can go on the go on to the next slide. So this will be your opening. So just I think question is great so that you can engage the audience, and then you can either like start by sharing your personal story as well, like maybe something like, when I was young, I was always asking my mother, or like maybe something that how did you came up with the problem. So just try to think of this like little bit more, because opening line, the opening slide, both are really, really important. And then you're coming to the core of your problem. So now it's your time to describe the problem. So this should be like the opening slide should be related to the problem, of course, and the problem or the solution, whatever. And then you have to describe the problem. So probably when you're introducing the problem, you can bring out numbers, maybe like uh, this much of like trees are cut each year, or maybe like 25% of nutrition is gone wasted with the food waste. So like, I don't know, like whatever that is related to your problem, you can bring out some statistics to prove it that this problem really exists. Or maybe like you can say it as in a more in a more story telling me, or maybe like this much of people are having like food allergies because of the peanuts, or like and they cannot eat peanut butter, so my solution is a different butter. So likewise, I don't know, whatever the problem, just try to sort of edit. Because I remember a girl coming and saying like, I love to wear creams and all, but my skin is very sensitive that I cannot wear any cream. So that's why I just like started this business. And there was another person who was saying about maybe like building some system for elephant tracking, because they are going to get hit each and every year, and it's going to hike. And maybe it might be about AI, it might be about a different thing that you're going to invent, but try to find that problem and try to emphasize it really better, so that people like resonates that problem with them as their own problem. If you can relate it to themselves, and maybe like if you can share it as your personal story, so then I think it is more impactful. So like can just say like what kind of a real world problem are you solving, and who is affected by it, and why is it matter. And then like maybe if it is from your story or experience, you can just share it as it is as well. And so I think uh, one mistake that I have seen in most of the pictures is like people either speak so much about the problem, or either speak so much about the solution. So I think there should be a balance of it. I think the problem is a significant part. So you can take a little bit more time to describe the problem. But when it comes to solution, also like you should relate how this solution resolves this problem. So just try to frame it properly so that you have set the stage to the rest of the presentation. And then the solution, the utopia, the perfect world that you see with your solution. So, and you can describe how you envision to solve this problem with the solution that you are presenting. So it should be very straightforward. It should resolve the previous problem that you described. So that's the main thing. Sometimes we see they take a lot of time and say a lot about the problem, but when they say the solution, it doesn't solve it. So for instance, like one pitch that I remember like was done by an Indian person. It might not be very good to say, but I remember like he went to the stage and he claimed that my product reduces like CO2 emission to this world by this percentage. And he claims that the global warming is getting stopped by this product. And that was really a great hook for that presentation. I remember it to the date, right? But still, like when it comes to the solution, he wasn't actually pitching the solution. Then I went near him and I was asking like, what have you got? So it's just a cooker that he has come up with. And he is like having showing a bigger problem about global warming and all of it, but the solution was a cooker which merely, like satisfied the problem or like merely gave a solution to the entire problem. So, but his hook was really perfect. So I think that's why you need to have like really good balance between these, like when you are pitching these solutions. Yeah, and then what your product or service, how is it of what are you offering? And then how does it solve the problem like differently or even a better way than the existing product? So you don't need to talk a lot about the existing product, but you need to emphasize on your value, on your unique value that you are providing. So yeah. And then yeah, so basically, I think it's almost similar to when like maybe pygmy. So when pygmy is coming to Sri Lanka, I think it's a very common example that all of us take. Although Uber was like dominating the world, like pygmy is actually dominating Sri Lankan market. So and also it was raising a lot of funding because it was not a very unique solution, but it was very unique to Sri Lanka because they had a very strong strategy to take all the three-wheelers on board. Like we never imagined like before it comes, the three-wheel guys will be using like a phone to navigate. So they took a big risk and they had a very strong plan and they raised a huge amount of investment before launching the product as well. So I think that's the power of a slide deck. That's the power of the business plan. So basically, you too should be like having that same power in your business deck, in your pitch, in your words, in your thoughts, and in your solutions. Okay, so then the next, we are coming to the difference. Like, how are we going to stand out from the rest? Because, like I mentioned, so there are like billions of people in the world and like multi-millions of like the entrepreneurs or like the tech entrepreneurs who are solving different problems. So you have to say, how do you stand out from the rest? So one common mistake that we see in most of the pitches is like people don't do their homework. People don't like see about who are their competitors. Maybe they identify competitors completely wrong. Maybe sometimes like they claim like maybe like if you're building a maybe let's assume you're building a social network to network among friends, you might be taking Facebook as an example. But there are many other like similar things. Maybe like if you're talking about the closed circles, there will be like other like lot of similar closed circle labs. So likewise, like maybe getting your competitors right is also like a great advantage for you in making the pitch right and also like communicating with your investors or like the judges or whoever in a very positive way. So like I mentioned, like put a lot of effort in finding out your competitors, their product, their competitive edges, and like why are you unique on that fact. Yeah. And then the target market. So like target market is all about numbers, predictions, and the percentages. So when it comes to target market, you should show like this much of users are my target market. For instance, if you are targeting Sri Lankan education sector, you can say like this much of students are in from grade 1 to 10. So my target is like grade 10 students, or like the scholarship students. The scholarship students are this much. So like this, out of this, like maybe 10% is having the digital access. So I'm just like saying whatever the numbers that are in my head, not the accurate ones. But you should find your numbers right, because it's all about the target market and the revenue, and it's all about getting your numbers right. So like this target market is 10%, then out of the 10%, how much are you going to target? So that's your target. So you cannot say like if you're having like, let's say around like 1 million students, you cannot maybe target 1 million in the first stage itself. So you might need to segment it more, maybe like people who are in Colombo, maybe people who are in students who are in Gampao, maybe you can like limit it, maybe like starting from maybe 1 point, maybe like students of University of like Morato or Kalani or IIT or wherever. So you can just like narrow it down to the your first target market, and then like this will be after this things succeed in this market, we are going to go for this market. So likewise, I think you need to have a proper plan, and also like it's really important you bringing out the numbers and saying this is a market share that we are going to address. And yeah, so then you need to define who are your ideal customers. So like, so my if we take the same previous example, so if we say like the grade 5 students, like if you're building maybe app, like if you're saying grade 5 students, it might not work. But you might need to find the stat like how many of them are having access to this digital device, how many of them are like using a mobile phone, or like how many of the mothers allow them to use a mobile phone. So that stat need to go through. So like you have to have your ideal customer. And also in that case, if you're targeting grade 5 students, is it the student that you're targeting, or is it the mother that you're targeting? So that's also a different story. So I think getting the target market right, identifying who is your customer segment. So like building the customer persona. So which we say as like, maybe like, let's take the same example. So your target customer is maybe mother of a scholarship student. So then you can build a persona around it. So like maybe like mother living in Colombo, like maybe 29, 27 to 35, 30 or 40 years age. And then having a mobile phone, spending more time with kids who are interested in like teaching for the kids with digital devices. So likewise, I think you need to understand like who is your ideal customer persona, and then you need to find out like what is the sort of the uh, maybe the number, or like the percentage of these users that you can target in the maybe the initial run, second phase, first phase, whatever. And then you, in your slide decks, try to add some graphs to show, and try to add some goals, and try to add some like a representation of numbers when you're talking about the target market. And then like the business model, this displays how will you learn, how will you earn, sorry. So when it comes to business model, there are different various business models. So if you take, if you like buy any product, like let's talk about the software products. So there will be various things that you can pay. Maybe they will be getting like a long-term payment, maybe it might be SaaS, software as a service, that you need to pay each month. Maybe they have a freemium, maybe they have a, I don't know. So they might be having so many different business models, not so many actually, there are around 8 altogether. So like SaaS, you mean like you pay a subscription each month. So you like Netflix or like Spotify or whatever. And then in-app purchases, maybe like you give like a little amount free of charge, and if you need more premium one, if you need more features, then it goes as in-app purchases. So like if you go for like Spotify, or like if you want to listen to ad-free music, then you need to have a paid account. So like the Helakuru is the same. To be ad-free, you need to make a payment. So that is a freemium model. And then either there are some apps you can make a lifetime payment or one-time payment, and you can get the unlimited access. So that's another model of actually generating a big revenue as well. And then maybe like if your product is coming together with the hardware, maybe hardware cost plus like some other that you're doing. And yeah, so maybe like you can maybe sell it free of charge and then charge for maybe using service. So there are like few of the methods that you can charge your customer on. Yeah, and then this is basically how you make money, and how are you going to sustain in the business, and then what are the revenue streams. So having more than one revenue stream will be a plus in your application. And also like maybe premium, those models also like would work really well. And then you need to talk about the long-term sustainability as well in the business model. And then the traction. So basically, when it comes to traction, so it basically talks about what's your progress so far. So if you're in the ideation stage, or if you're only having an idea in your head, so you might be not having a traction, but you need to convert it into something like with some evidence. So I think um, evidence means like maybe through a survey, or maybe like through talking to people, getting those numbers, like this much of people were interested when I was like talking about this idea, or like this much of people had sign up. So I think sign-ups would be a great thing, because you can then just show like, hey, I got this much of signups within just this month. So so then like you can create that kind of attraction. But if you're already having paying customers for your product, I think that's awesome. That's what the investors are looking for. And then yeah, so like I mentioned, it can be like if it is pre-launch, then you can target on the feedbacks, surveys and everything. And then, of course, like you have to like say about your team, who are your team, who are the people behind the curtains, who are working tirelessly to make this a reality. And if you can highlight on their roles and abilities, so that would be great. Because like having a diverse team to take care of different activities is a great plus for like getting more scores, or like investors sort of getting to like you as well. And yeah, and then finally you can say about your vision. So how do you see yourself in a long run? And then your ask ultimately. So yeah, talking about ask, I would say like maybe like if you can break it again into numbers, that would be great. So that you're asking maybe like $100,000. Maybe 25% of it might be going into product development, 50% might be going into sales and marketing, another 25% might be going into maybe administration, or like maybe partnership making and different things. So don't be very blunt on that. Like do your numbers. So like make a budget, actually make a budget for your project. And if you don't have the capacity to know it, just take some quotations and have it. Because like one thing that we see like a big mistake that's done in like most of the undergraduate hackathons is that like you estimate it really low. because like building a tech product, hosting cost, and then like salaries of the developers. So those things are pretty high. So like it is like you might be having a good advantage because you're an undergraduate and you have a team, but still you might need a lot of advisors, lot of like insights from the market there to make it perfect in order to have it running without any interruptions, maybe in load balancing or like in whatever in making it success. You might be having different obstacles in there. Yeah. So as a final ask, you can give like how much of stake are you going to give up? Maybe like is it 10% or like 15%? But it need to be backed by a valuation. But I don't think it is really necessary at this stage. Just you can say like based on like we came up for a like based on the projection in next 5 years, like it will be worth this much. So like we came up with maybe like a $1 million valuation. So out of like 1 million, we are hoping to raise like 500,000 in this. So we are hoping to give away around like 50%. Don't give away 50% at the first glance, but like maybe 10%, 20%, or likewise, just like try to say that as well. And also, like it might not be financial as well. So sometimes you might be looking for the strategic partnerships where financial plus like expertise, maybe like marketing, finance, or like whatever the expertise that come with it. Maybe you might be purely looking at in mentorship or maybe like partnerships or whatever. So like be specific on your ask as well, because that will be something like the investors will be looking at. But I'm not sure about like what is like the marking criteria on your uh CodeSprint. So just like try to be mindful of that as well. Yes, so I think that's mostly it about what I had to share about the like the pitching. So I'll bring out a few examples in a while, but until then, I would like again to turn towards your side, and if there are any questions or like any comments, feedback, or like if you have any things that is unclear, I would be very happy to answer, like taking a little break. Okay, I think we have a couple of things. Okay, I got a fantastic product again here. So man, we are working on an AI agent call for call centers in Sri Lanka, boosting the efficiency of responses starting from medical industry. It would be really helpful if you could give us some tips addressing the resistance of change of an organization in this case, because an AI agent clearly demands drastic changes in existing systems of established call centers. Okay. Okay, so I think resistant to change management is a totally a different ball game altogether. So, like if you are having a product, like congratulations in the first place. I think first you need to find your early adopter. So, like who will really like this kind of a product. So, just think of maybe a like you can maybe start with a small organization so that you can pilot this product with them. So so I'm thinking like just without like challenging the status quo at first, just try to find people who will embrace it, so it will be so much easier. So try to find a customer who would love your product and who would love to use it and see. So when you find that customer, like he or she will be recommending you to several other customers most probably. Or not, you can give him or her as an example and take it into different other markets. But before you're before you're trying to get into a very resistant place, where like people are really scared that their jobs will be gone away and things like that. But try to get like that's why it is like a small organization where like bearing a cost of a human is difficult than bearing a cost of an AI. So just try to focus that kind of organization, get your first customers, get like pilot your product, and then try to sort of take it into like other customers. So you have the referrals as well, and you have your product proven in like one place as well. And then, yeah, thanks a lot for the question, and like nice to know about your product as well. And yeah, any other questions? Yeah, and I think we have got some questions from the QR code. We would like to know what's difference of technical pitch from business pitch as we do normally. Since this is called a technical pitch, we wanted to clarify. Okay, so okay, I think it's up to the organizers actually what for you to say like this is like this is going to be entirely technical thing or a business pitch. So once they present you with the like the selection criterias, I think then you can have a more emphasis on. But me personally believe it. So like whatever the technology is, like you might be having the best technologies, you might be having the best tech team, but it doesn't matter if it cannot gain a single customer, right? So business pitch is really important. So having a business sort of a plan and having your costings properly and like getting your numbers right, getting your traction, having your business plan and like having your competitor advantages. So those things are really necessary for you to make a successful product. So despite of like if you're using the best technologies in the world, it doesn't matter like if you don't have that business mindset as well. So it should be a balance. So that's why in a team we have different roles. So like one would be the techie who would be like super interested in the technologies, and the other one would be like the hustlers who are taking it into the business, and the hipsters who would be dreaming about your future, who would be dreaming about making the product a success. And so like if you have follow-up questions, like please feel free to ask them as well. And then we have, I think organizers, if you can like give a little bit of clarity on this question, I think that would be great as well. Is it necessary to cover the business model in a technical pitch? Business like technical pitch, like I think again, like it's up for the organizers to sort of like clarify it on. But anyhow, I think it's better to cover, although it's like technical or like business, whatever, but it's really hard to demarcate because it's all about like taking it into the market and getting the customers on board. But by the nature of the competition, if that is like somewhere like evaluates your code and like evaluates your progress, then I think that would be a different story. Then okay, how can we present our technical product pitch in a way that is easily understand to a non-technical audience? So I think that's a very important question because like you might be building technical products, you might be very savvy on using maybe the agentic AI or like whatever the AR, VR or like whatever the blockchain, whatever the technologies that are out there. But still, I think what is the most important is people understanding it, people getting answer to a burning problem. So it is not the technology, it is not what you're thinking of, but what matters is like solving a real world problem, giving a good answer through technology without people noticing it is technology. For like, let me give you an example. So basically, like people get really interested when they hear about like these AI words, blockchain words and all, but what you have to do is actually to give the solution. For instance, like if we take like one of the systems that we do, like in like island-wide medical supplies distribution system. So when we sort of map the system out, we understood that this works really better in the blockchain environment. But with the resources we had and with the like the time frame and everything, so we had to like limit it into a very limited one, like to implement the blockchain into it, but to give the solution in a different using the different sort of technology. So I think it's not always the technology, it's the application, the usage of it, and like how with your time with the constraints that you have, how you are going to sort of like give the solution in a better way. Because like the customer, like you might be giving it to, for instance, if we take the call center example, so you might be giving it to a user who doesn't understand anything about the technology, but he might be understanding about his business. So like headaches that he might be having, like maybe like in terms of like calls, or like getting different nuisance calls, and getting like calls that are very easy to answer but takes so much of time. So he might be having different own set of problems. So as long as he's getting answers to these problems, he doesn't care like what is the technology. So he doesn't care if that is AI or if that is a like human agent. Like if he can get it like cheaper, if he can get it like in a more how to say, like a very comprehensive or a like solid way that the people don't understand, people like really love the service, I think that's what they are basically looking for. And so in order to make it more understandable, so I think just try to focus on more on the solution side, and then like try pitching it to different people. Maybe like I think you can pick your mother and father. Like mostly I think some there might be technical moms and dads, but like mostly I think our mothers and like fathers are like little behind the technology. So maybe you can pitch it to your mother and father and see like if they find it interested, or maybe like you can pitch it to your sister or brother and then see if they understood it. Then like definitely this audience might be understanding it as well. Just always try to think like the person you're pitching to as a person who uh, has like big uh, interest in what you're doing, but still uh, like a person who is a little down. So you need to sort of like spoon feed like one by one, as in like this is what's going to happen. And how can we balance technical depth with simplicity in 7-minute pitch? I think definitely that's the magic is all about. So you need to definitely balance like what you're doing. So if you have a prototype, so just try to maybe like make it like if it is very hard to like show the live demonstration, just try to maybe have a recorded video put on the screen, and maybe like try to hand over that via screen or like via laptops or anything to the judges for them to evaluate. Or and also another thing that I forgot to mention, so just try to be little innovative in that case as well. So just maybe like if you're having for this, like since you said the call center product, I'm just taking it as an example. So maybe like you can start with maybe a conversation and maybe before and after. So likewise you can maybe try to make it like more innovative and like in a way that people feel it. So and again, like one thing that I was hoping to say at the end, so what I told you is might be the form of it, but you don't necessarily need to follow it. So the pictures will be like it will be in like various forms. So like making it innovative while giving the same value to the end user, I think that's what mostly matters. Yeah, so I think those are the questions that I've got at the moment. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them as well. So let me take you through like a little, like few presentations so that you will understand a little more. Okay. Okay, hope you can see my screen. So I picked few like presentations that were available online. So this is like a technical product. I think you might have heard of it. I don't know, browser stack. So which gives you like which we use like in companies for like test in different browsers, but inside one application. So basically this is their pitch. So they talk about their journey and they highlight on like the main instances. If you can see, like they have the numbers, they have their founders highlighted, and they have their global presence highlighted. So which are like the key or the important points. So they have done it in the first slide itself. So and then yeah, then they go more depth into the numbers. So like the how many signups, how many countries, how many projects, and then they show in graphs. And also I think these are like some of the top clients or like the names that we would love to see, like brands. So basically they are like highlighting on their the main customer brands as well. And then they are showing their scale, like this much of registered users and sorry, like yeah. And then they are telling about like uh, maybe they're traditionally this much of like a month they are getting, and then maybe like how can they proceed further, like, and they talk more about their customers and yeah. And then they talk about their product and their solutions and like how they sort of like help you in the throughout the life cycle. And then yeah, and they talk about like probably this is their like the solution kind of a thing, right? Like this previous slide and this one. And also they pull out few numbers. And then they finally talk about like the solution, how they are going to sort of like tackle each and everything and what they have like in their solution. And I think this is also like something I found online. So although it is confidential, I don't know it was available online. So Splitwise is an application that I love so much. So when you go on trips or anywhere, I think we can simply like, add the budgets and we can simply see like how much need to be paid to each other at the end of the trip or whatever. So this is their presentation. So they have a one-liner describes about what they do. And then they have a slide. So this is like little old in 2021. So your one should be very attractive than this. And then they are solving like $1 trillion problem they are claiming. And then they are highlighting about their main customers with some statistics like 50% of couples fight or lie about money, top cause of stress and divorce. So these might be things available online for you to search and get insights on. And 75 of friendships would end over like $500, or like maybe it's not 500, maybe like in Sri Lankan context, maybe like 1,000 rupees dispute. So like, and then dollars for trillion be paid between friends and family in the US alone. So I think, so these might be statistics that people would love to hear, because these directly says like your addressable market is suffering from this much of huge numbers, right? And then, so since they are like little established products, they are pitch decks are towards like raising in the maybe series like investors or like in viewers, just to see how much of like a big problem you're solving. And then they are just saying about their main features in a very summarized way. Yeah, and then like these are the applications. These are actually the customer segments that they're talking about. Reasons to use. And then they are talking about their ratings and net promoter scores. And then yeah, and then they're talking about their growth flywheel. Yeah. And I think they're making some of the statements, maybe not all the startups might be able to make it, like the $0 spent on paid marketing so far. So which is like to grow this much, they haven't spent on marketing. So which is like a wow factor. So and then they talk about like few of those kind of advantages or special features that they have, maybe high retention, ongoing invites, plus exponential growth. So like I think that's something that they like claim of having in future. And then yeah. And they talk about their product side. So if you see in any of these presentations, they haven't touched a lot on the tech side. So if this is like a technical presentation, but I would still feel like including this business aspect is like a must, although it is technical, like maybe few slides on the technical side, architecture, and maybe like what are the things that has been like used in developing the systems, but not too much on the tech side, but try to focus on the problem and the solution and the customers and your plan business side. And then one global platform for interpersonal finances. So this then Ballsy claims about their statements last, and then one of the main things they talk about their team. So I think this is also really important, just to get your team members on screen, right? And yeah, so I think that's about that product. And this is another product that I found online. Maybe I can share these slides if you want. And then this might be the opening slides, which looks really attractive, which has a one-liner, like I mentioned. And then they claim the problems, like 70%. They straight away start with numbers, so which is really appealing, with some infographics in place. And they have come up with different numbers, like for their solution. And then they talk about the problem. Yeah, so and like one disadvantage that I see in this slide is like, if you're sending this to a person, this is good. But if you are presenting it, do not use this much of text in one slide. Just try to have minimal number of text. And when you're presenting, just try to say it out loud, so that otherwise, like, people might feel as you are reading out something, or you're not like prepared or likewise. So just try to have minimal text, but try to memorize and pitch once you're like saying it. And then they are focusing on numbers in highlighting the problem, because I think because nature of this problem is little hard for like people to understand, because it's inside an organization, how like how to create the transparency, and like how people are not realizing the top management goals. So like they have taken few slides to elaborate on the problem with like great some statistics. And then they come to the solution, like fixing what's broke with clarity, transparency, and simplicity. And then they have like demonstrated it in a way that it looks quite appealing. And then yeah, and then they have presented the solution straight away. Hey, like, this is what we got, this is our platform. So maybe this is where you can include a little demo of your presentation, or like a prototype, and how it is happening. And then they just maybe like brings out like few pointers, like this is what we are happening in the platform. So and then yes, and then this is like the business plan of them, like timeline to success. So then yeah, sorry, I think this is not the business plan. I think this is like how this is going to be implemented in an organization, like the onboarding process of it. And yeah, and then like this is like a little competitor analysis, I guess. and they are like having complexity, simplicity, and goal platforms and collaboration platforms. So that is like how they have filtered it, not the quality and the pricing. So what makes us unique? So there are USPs there, and then yeah, and then they have presented the roadmap like, hey, we are getting started, and like these are the features. This is like the next like Q1, Q2, Q4. Like this will be the features, integrations, like AI strategies, or like whatever they have presented it here. And then yeah, then they are like claiming on the traction side of it. And yeah, and finally they are like talking about the go to market. I think this say about the traction and the plan again. Yeah, and then I think this is something that uh like if you're like with your revenue model, this is something you should include. So like if that is like just graphically try to include like in this way, like how much they want to pay, or like what is your target also, maybe in the bottom, like this much of users, blah blah blah. And then they are talking about the ideal customer persona. So like they're targeting the CEOs, like having around like 150 employees. And like this is the persona that they have created. And then, yeah. And yeah, so this is another additional slide maybe. So you can likewise, you can include whatever the slides that you feel as will act as a plus for you. And yeah, so I think that's about their presentation. And again, they have a very strong closing slide, uh, saying like we are on a mission to create clarity and enable execution for employees around the world. So likewise, they have a very strong ending slide as well as a starting slide. Yeah, so I think those are few examples. I can share you like these examples if you want. Maybe I can share with the organizers so that you'll be getting in a very formal way. Yeah, so I'll be happy to answer if you have any more questions, but I think we have almost like reached the time limit as well. So yeah, any more questions? Or you can just like unmute yourself and ask, because anyhow you are going to pitch. So which is again, I think, an achievement if you can just ask anything. Any other questions or any other clarifications? How can we determine on initial product valuation? I think it will be a little difficult because it is not implemented. Like you might be not having customers at this stage. It will be difficult. But what you can do is basically you can make a 5-year, like let's say 3-year plan, and you can see like what is your like target customers in next year, like maybe in year after. So like in these 3 years, you can like get a plan like we are hoping to reach maybe like one, like let's take LKR like 1 million this year, maybe 3 million next year, and then like 4 million next year. So altogether 8 million. So then like you can have a like maybe average like this is what we are going to sort of like achieve. And then based on that, you can see like it is very difficult at this stage because like is for like product startups, like it usually have a factor like multiplication factor, and so there are different formal methods of valuation as well, which I'm not an expert in that area, but I know very little in that. So you can come up with this like budget, and then you can sort of say like in order to grow this much, how much of an like investment that we are going to praise, or like how much of investment that we want. So based on that, you can see like we might need this much. So like, so this much means like down the 5 years, like this, like if like the total value that we will be generating will be like 8 million. So basically, now if we take like 4 million, we'll be generating 8 million of value throughout 3 years. And then basically with that calculation, maybe like you can sort of come into a point where you think like this might be a fair share that we might be requesting. So at this point, I think you don't need to have the exact calculation, but just go with your guts, but be realistic as well. Like don't go like, and like for 8 million one, don't go and say like 800 million and we need 100 million for 10%. So that's not going to work. So if that is like 8 million, and then they just try to like make it a like if you take the company, maybe like if you take the multiply of it, then like let's say 3x multiply, and then you can come into a valuation, and then from that you try to break down like into maybe like if I want maybe I don't know 2 million, just try to see like how much stake I had to give out. So like you can just say about that stake. So it doesn't need to be 100% accurate. Just go with your gut feeling. Think about the progress that you're trying to make. Especially in the idea stage, it doesn't need to be accurate. Otherwise, you have different firms coming and doing it for you, like PwC and all. So it's a very lengthy and a formal process. Yeah, so you don't need to exactly like do it, but have something very rough. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, I think there are no questions. So I think if you have any questions, just like maybe you can write to me through organizers if you want to get it clarified from me. But I think there'll be a lot of questions to organizers, especially because with the pitch and what is the marking criteria and everything. So just try to focus on like whatever the marking criteria that is presented by the organizers, so that you know like exactly like to which points that you need to score. And when you're pitching, be authentic as much as possible. Don't claim things that you're not. So try to be very humble and like up on the ground, because like people who are listening can feel like your attitudes and guts and all, and try to be pleasant and pitch, and also try to have a real passion when you're pitching. Try to have real passion. Like if you're like maybe using two or more speaker, like more than one speakers, just like practice a lot, so the transitions and everything to be very smoother. It is recommended, I think, to pitch by one person, but it's okay to pitch by like a couple of other people. If you have few people in team, just like try to make other people also contribute, maybe in the question rounds, or maybe like in the demonstrations, where like you can like maybe go to the judges and show the demonstrations, and maybe like for them to experience. And the main thing is like at this stage, like when this AI and like a lot of things have like disrupted the entire organization, don't just come up with like just a very basic prototype. Just use those AI tools as well, and just try to build something really great, like with the help of AI and also like with your talent. So try to build something unbreakable, and I mean, uh, you can defend it in a very good way. Just focus on the problem solution, and then the traction part. Yeah, so I think that's all. So thanks a lot for listening to me. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer through the organizers. Okay. And yeah, so that's about it. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights and expertise with us today. As a token of sincere appreciation, we would now like to present a virtual memento on behalf of our entire team. we kindly invite you to accept this gesture as a small symbol of our gratitude for taking the time to engage and inspire us this evening.
Yeah.
Now,
Much.
Now it's time to thank our esteemed partners who give their constant support throughout CodeSprint X. Their contribution has played a key role in making this event possible, offering us guidance, resources, and encouragement. Our platinum partner, Digital Team, Digital Team Private Limited, offers smart offshoring solution by building dedicated IT teams in Sri Lanka tailored to your needs. Silver partner, Creative Software, Creative Software Private Limited leverages 20 plus years of expertise to build dedicated software teams and deliver project-based solutions that support global clients in becoming more efficient and profitable. Emerging partners, CubeMac Labs. CubeMac Labs is a Sri Lankan IT service provider specializing in delivering innovative, timely, and cost-effectively technology solutions. Traditional Gemmine. Traditional Gemmine Private Limited specializes in premium handcrafted jewelry with intricate designs for every occasion. Deluxe's Infotech. Deluxe's Infotech delivers tailored future-ready digital solution in web, mobile, AI, and blockchain to help businesses thrive in the digital era. Our knowledge partners is a global our knowledge partners, Fortitude. Fortitude is a global digital service company delivering end-to-end ERP solutions and enterprise technologies across data, cloud, and automation with a presence in six countries. Infowaves. Infowaves delivers digital transformation solutions along with long-term support and maintenance for businesses of all sizes. Inivos. Inivos, founded in 2019, has rapidly grown into a global tech leader, offering end-to-end digital solution across software, AI, blockchain, and ERP services with a presence in more than 8 countries. Virtusa is a global provider of digital engineering and IT services, helping global 2000 companies drive innovation and unlock value at speed. Our banking partner, HNB, Hatton National Bank PLC, is a leading Sri Lankan private bank with extensive reach, driving economic growth through innovative, customer-focused banking solutions. Startup ecosystem partner, LeapGen. IIT LeapGen Accelerator empowers students and innovators to transform ideas into ventures through a collaborative, innovation-driven ecosystem. Co-working space partner, Collabs, designed to inspire creativity. Collabs offers modern, convenient meeting spaces for founders, freelancers, teams, and professionals. Our food partner, Prima Kottumi, Ceylon Agro Industries Limited, known for the popular Prima Kottumi brand, and is a top food company in Sri Lanka. They produce wheat-based products, dairy, and poultry products, playing in a key role in supporting local agriculture and the food sector. Our beverage partner, Kotmale, established in 1991, Kotmale Private Limited has grown into one of Sri Lanka's most trusted dairy brands, offering fresh, high-quality milk and dairy products sourced from local farmers. Our print media partner, Ceylon Today. Ceylon Today is an English language Sri Lankan daily newspaper published by Ceylon Newspapers Limited, committed to delivering insightful and reliable journalism across a broad spectrum of topics. As a media partner, their support enhances the visibility of our event, ensuring impactful coverage that reaches a diverse and engaged readership. Online event partners, hackathons.lk. Hackathons.lk is a leading platform in Sri Lanka's tech ecosystem, committed to fostering innovation through competitive coding and problem solving. As an online event partner, they bring together a vibrant community of developers offering tools and visibilities that elevate the hackathon experience. Hackcastle. Hackcastle empowers the next generation of tech talent of creating engaging, accessible opportunities for collaborating and growth. As an online event partner, they help bridge the gap between aspiring innovators and real world challenges through well curated digital platforms. Our photography partner, Deglia. Deglia is a creative photography partner dedicated to capture the essence of every moment. With a keen eye for detail and a passion for visual storytelling, and they ensure every highlight of the event is preserved with clarity and style. Before we wrap up, we would like to capture this moment with all of you. So we kindly request everyone to turn on their cameras so we can take a quick virtual group photo to mark today's session. Once again, I kindly request everyone to turn on their cameras so we can take a quick virtual photograph. Thank you, everyone. As we come to the end of Prototype Workshop 5, I would like to sincerely thank each of you for your active participation and enthusiasm throughout the session. Our sincere gratitude to Ms. Pulani Ranasinghe for graciously sharing her invaluable expertise and practical wisdom on technical pitching. Your session inspired us to think creatively, go beyond limits, and pitch with confidence. We hope today's session has equipped you with valuable strategies and inspired fresh ideas to elevate your future tech pitches. A quick reminder, prototype submissions are due tomorrow, 25th June by midnight, and with more than 24 hours left, now is the perfect time to refine your prototypes and give them that last final polish before submission. Make sure to follow us on our social media to keep an eye on upcoming events, and we look forward to welcome you to our upcoming workshops. Until next time, stay inspired, keep exploring, and never stop building. Thank you once again. Have a good night.